What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's data report with the pandemic update for Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Starting off with COVID positives, we do have one COVID positive to report since our last update, and that is Prince Albert of Monaco. And Prince Albert of Monaco, excuse me. He is 64 years old. This is actually his third time testing positive. He tested positive for COVID on Tuesday afternoon. He had COVID 3 times. This was his third time. His first time was back in March of 2020. His second time was in March of 2022. And he has stated personally, this is in the past, at least after the first case, that he is experiencing long haul symptoms. So I assume those symptoms probably persisted after or resurfaced after the second case. Who knows what's going to happen now that he's on his third case again? He is 64 years old and COVID positive for the third time. We also have some long COVID news. And there was a study out saying more and more stuff keeps surfacing coming out on long COVID, which is a good thing. It's good that we're getting more data out on this because we need people to understand this serious condition that persists after some people test positive. And here in the United States, nearly 36 million Americans who tested positive for COVID-19 report having long COVID symptoms, including more than 40% in Mississippi. Wow, 40% in Mississippi. That's a lot for one state. Remember last year, it was between 20 and 25 million, so now we're already at 36 million. And here we are, we continue to let the virus rip, so this is not good. This number keeps continuously growing. People keep questioning, oh, why are there job vacancies? Why can't I fill a job vacancy? Simple. People are sick. People have long COVID and they're tired and they can't function properly. Therefore, they are not filling these jobs that are out there. All right, we also have some COVID treatment news, some really good news on Novavax. And it says here's the headline for it. Novavax COVID-19 vaccine neutralizes Omicron mutations. Let's click on this. As the Omicron variant continues to mutate, questions of vaccine effectiveness and dosing schedules will continue to follow all FDA-approved and authorized COVID-19 vaccines. To address these points, the FDA is having its first vaccines and related biological products advisory committee meeting of the year Thursday. So we can only hope they talk about maybe finally approving Novavax, but I'm not getting my hopes up. But here we go. Included in the meeting will be data on the NVX-CoV 2373, which has to do with Novavax. So again, hopefully, it's granted emergency use authorization, but we need full approval. We need this vaccine to be fully approved because out of the other two, Pfizer and Moderna, Novavax is really the best. A lot of people are reporting the best with Novavax. It says here, in a new study, investigators examined the Novavax vaccine and looked at 2 and 3 doses and its ability to demonstrate protection against Omicron variants. They showed the vaccine enhanced neutralization of Omicron BA.1.4.5 following 3 doses. So that's really good news. But, as you know, we are on the XBB and XBB 1.5 variants. So we'll have to see how it holds up against that. Only time will tell. Alright, moving on to other news. We do have news about another virus. Yes, yet another virus. We had a person test positive for tuberculosis at the Penwood Middle School in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. This is my state. This is locally. This is the first case we've had of this in some time. Have not seen any tuberculosis cases in our area, at least not since last year. May have been one last year. Here's the problem. Delaware County, Pennsylvania, for those who do not know, they only started a county health department last year, so they're still kind of getting this up and running. Hopefully they have the resources to trace these people. And it says here, the health department stresses the students and staff can continue active learning in the school setting because TB is not contagious as the flu and requires extended close contact, around 15 hours of contacts per week. Okay, here's the problem. We know those who have had coronavirus have a weakened immune system. Therefore, anyone with a weakened immune system can easily catch or transmit viruses, such as tuberculosis. Moving on. Taking a look at the CDC community transmission map. No update from yesterday. 61.3% is at high transmission. 19.4% of the counties are at substantial, 14.65 are at moderate, low makes up 4.66% of the counties. The East and Southeast have the most areas of high transmission, as does Puerto Rico. All of Puerto Rico on this map, as far as I can see, and I'll zoom it in. As far as I can see, that doesn't do us any good. Anywho, all of Puerto Rico has high transmission. And I was told there was just some sort of a festival in Puerto Rico this past weekend. So, yeah, chances are cases are going to continue to stay high, if not rise even higher. Latest variant proportion update. XBB 1.5 is 49.1%, BQ 1.1 is 26.9%, and the other one that's over 10% is BQ.1 at 13.3%. Moving on to today's hospitalizations. The hospitalizations for today, they are actually up from yesterday, which is normal for Wednesday, and it shows us that we're not as at a really rapid drop. We were dropping, but it's not as rapid because we're still seeing the hospitalizations do the little spike on Wednesdays, which is the day when the backlog, I guess you could say, is released. I don't know what actually causes it to go higher or be the most amount of reportings on Wednesday, but it usually is the day that we see the most reported and the biggest rise of the week. 34,172 people are in the hospital for coronavirus. 77.53% of all beds are being used, so that's up slightly from yesterday. 5.07% of beds are being used for coronavirus. And I do want to point your attention to something here that I always like to point out here. 4,873 hospitals reported. They're actually at the peak of the pandemic, 6,100, which included some long-term care facilities, were reporting. So this 34,000 number, because of that number not reporting, is low. It's actually lower than what the real number would be. New York State. New York State on today's update, 3,380 people tested positive in the last 24 hours. 6.1% positivity. Now for the hospitalizations. New York State has 3,029 people in the hospital, so they're almost ready to drop below 3,000, and I think they will do that tomorrow. They'll drop below 3,000. ICUs are also dropping. 313 people in the ICU. Moving on to some good news to report here on Walgreens today. The national positivity has started to drop a little more again. So we're at 32.9% positive nationally, 34.4% the prior week. That's a difference of 1.5%. Total testing this week, 28,981. The previous week was 33,364. Couple states, or 4 states, do really point out. Vermont, 31.6% positive. That's actually dropped a little bit. Iowa, 34.3% positive. That's a pretty big increase still. 9.7% difference. Colorado, 30.5% positive. And Montana, 28.6% positive, which Montana is rapidly rising despite testing being down. And remember, the West Coast never really had their XBB wave. Instead, they did have a wave with the BQ variants. All right, finally, taking a look at deaths. Yesterday, we added another 515 deaths, which now takes us to, for the year, remember we started at 1,093,000 deaths. We're now up to 1,104,000 deaths. So yeah, we're now coming over 12,000 deaths, and this number continues to go up. As I have stated, I think we're on pace for another 200,000 deaths this year, unfortunately. All right, thanks for watching this video. Continue to take COVID precautions because it is still dangerous out there. The pandemic is not over by any means. And help get that message out by hitting like and subscribe down below. And share these videos so that way more people can see the real data and get the actual message of what's going on. Alright, thanks for watching everyone. See you again next time.